Are you a first responder, a veteran, a doctor, a nurse, a teacher, or a Let's Go Blues radio listener? Of course you are. If you're in the market to buy or sell a home, call real estate superstar Mike Burgoyne today at 314-753-4060 or email him at mike@strikewithmike.com to earn special rates today.
60 Pickleball is an industry leader in high-end pickleball paddles. Use discount code CPRICE10 to get 10% off at 60pickleball.com. Don't get stuck on the court with an inferior paddle. Go next level with 60.
This is Carl Lindbom of Carl Lindbom's Carly Bon, and thanks for tuning in to Let's Go Blues Radio over the summer. You'll hear some of Jeff Ponder, a little of Bill Day, and unfortunately some of that nasty American Curt Price. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to the original and longest running blues hockey podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio. This is the Jeff Finley episode, aka episode 37 of season 14 and the 518th episode all time, our first pre-recorded episode of the summer for 2025. Support for Let's Go Blues Radio is brought to you in part by Mike Burgoyne of Real Brokerage Realty. You can contact Mike at strikewithmike.com. Also visit his site at strikewithmike.com, or you can call him directly at 314-753-4060 and get started selling your current home or buying your new home today. On today's show, our friend Vanessa Graf joins us, and we're going to talk about some blues prospects. Lots of names, obviously, going around right now with Dalibor, Dvorsky, Jimmy Snuggerud, who's already graduated to the NHL pretty much on a full-time basis, I think, at this point, as well as other names. Obviously, Justin Carbonneau is one that's been thrown around a lot this summer. We are going to talk with Vanessa about all of those prospects. She knows her stuff. Big AHL Thunderbirds watcher, as well as somebody who just follows all the blues prospects. So for me, there's just so much going on around the sport of hockey. It's, obviously the blues are our big priority here on Let's Go Blues Radio, duh. But, there's prospects, there's AHL, there's World Juniors, there's Olympics coming up. There's so much, and it's impossible for really any one person to be an expert on everything, the whole hockey landscape. So I try to bring in people like Vanessa who really kind of specialize in areas of the sport, and hopefully that that person will be able to provide some insight. And we've had Vanessa on the show many times. She's been a fill-in host, she's been a guest, and she always provides excellent insight. So very happy to have Vanessa back on the show this summer. And again, probably going to see her again at some point over the season. But it's always fun to get these prospect updates, because I know so many of us are wondering, we see the box scores, we see the highlights, but what's really going on with these prospects? A quick show announcement. The Stanley Ponder Cup Memorial Tournament player signups, they will begin tomorrow. We are recording this on July 17th, 2025. They begin tomorrow at 10 a.m. St. Louis time. So if you are a roller hockey player and want to get involved in the Stanley Ponder Cup Memorial Tournament, which we hold every year, and if you're a listener to this show, you've heard us talk about it many times. It will be held on November 22nd, 2025. Starts at 11, goes till about 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. If you, again, have never heard of this tournament, it's something that obviously run by me in honor of my late father, who died from leukemia back in 2015. This is our 10th annual, and we benefit the NMDP, which is the National Marrow Donor Program. Why they changed their name, I have no idea. They were Be The Match. BeTheMatch.org, as some people knew them, and obviously blues fans are probably familiar with that name, because that's something that blues have been a big part of, making sure people donate bone marrow if they can. It is very easy, folks, to sign up for the registry. They send you a packet in the mail. You swab the inside of your nose. That's it. And if you are a match for anyone who needs bone marrow, they will contact you. It is very important to be on there. You could help save a life. So we do raise funds for that program. Again, the NMDP. No idea why it's not Be the Match anymore. That rung off the bell so much better. But the roller hockey tournament itself will be at Midwest Sport Hockey again in Baldwin area of Missouri, so St. Louis area. And again, it's open player signups. So these signups, again, they begin on Friday, July 18th at 10 a.m. You can do it. We got a Facebook page, and I'll shoot out the link on all my social channels as well as Let's Go Blues Radio's social channels. So make sure you stay tuned on that for that link to where you can sign up. It is a $60 fee, but you also get a jersey with it, special Stanley Ponder Cup Memorial Tournament jersey. And again, it's open sign up. So anyone who's interested, even if you don't play roller hockey, we welcome all skill levels. So we've literally had people playing this that have never played before. And we just go out there and we play hockey all day, 5, 6 games, 7 games, I think is the max. And we award a winner, a champion team. It's just a lot of fun. So if you've never been there, plan on it. Circle the date on your calendar, November 22nd. And obviously, this is for player signups. But we also encourage people to come and watch, even if you just buy a beer, buy a soda, get yourself a hot dog, whatever. Some of that will go back to supporting NMDP. So definitely try to schedule that November 22nd. Make sure you are open to come to that because it's a lot of fun. And we have raffles too. So last year we actually had a Philip Broberg jersey. There was another. It was a Mighty Ducks jersey, the new orange ones. And I think it was a Leo Carlson jersey. We've had Blues tickets and giveaways, Cardinal tickets, Cardinals box seats. Always a lot of cool stuff that comes up in those raffles. So make sure you are available that day. But again, player signups tomorrow, Friday, July 18th at 10 a.m. And just look for us on social media, and I will post that link. Player signups will go on for a while. Goalies go very quickly. So goalies, if you're interested, make sure you sign up as soon as you can. There's only 6 spots for goalies. Well, we're going to take a quick commercial break. You're going to hear from our awesome sponsors. And when we get back, you will hear from myself and the amazing Vanessa Graf as we talk Blues prospects. Stay tuned.
We'll return after these messages.
As a hockey player, Mike Burgoyne knows a thing or two about making the perfect play. And when it comes to real estate, he's always ready to score the winning goal for his clients. If you're a first responder, a veteran, a doctor, a nurse, a teacher, or a Let's Go Blues radio listener looking to score the home of your dreams, you'll receive special rates with Mike. Go ahead, shoot some questions his way, and he'll have the answer quicker than Curtis Joseph on a breakaway.
Curtis Joseph got the paddle down!
Any barriers? Mike will mow them down like Chris Pronger in front of the net. He'll score you your dream home or sell your existing home faster than a Brett Hall one-timer.
Flip past the Hall, he shoots, he scores!
See Burgoyne's real estate prowess in action today by emailing him at mike@strikewithmike.com or by calling 314-753-4060. That email again is mike@strikewithmike.com, and that phone number is 314-753-4060. Getting Mike Burgoyne on your team will be the boost your power play needs.
The battle for the top spot in the league is on the line. Many warriors have entered the concrete jungle, but when the smoke clears, only one will remain. They all want it, but only one shall have it. Hide your children, lock your doors. Those with weak stomachs should almost certainly look away. This is Big Boy Pickleball. You have been warned.
And now, back to Let's Go Blues Radio, the longest running St. Louis Blues podcast with Price, Ponder, and Day.
We are joined now by our friend Vanessa Graf, who you can find on Blue Sky over at VRain. That's RAIN 91. Also on Twitter, but sounds like Vanessa's kind of like me. Use it sparingly. More on the Blue Sky app now. That's kind of where I've been. But Vanessa is a longtime friend of the show. She's been a co-host. She's been in our special YouTube shows we've done. We've also had her on as a guest because she knows Blues prospects. So let's get right into it. Vanessa, thank you very much for joining the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
So I wanted to ask you, because last time we talked to you last summer, you had mentioned like, yeah, I'm thinking about like trying to find a home for all my prospect coverage. And I'm like, you should start a site. And you have since the last time we heard from you. So where can people find your site about Blues prospects?
So right now, the website, the title of it is Bluenote Prospects. I didn't go the Substack route like I know at least two other people have tried for covering the Blues prospects. And I just don't, I feel like this information should be free. It shouldn't be set to you have to pay to actually get it. We get enough of that with The Athletic with a monthly subscription. So this stuff's all free. But basically still in the process of getting the actual like website domain name done, but you can find me at bluesprospects.com. It's listed in my Blue Sky as well. So should be good.
Very cool. And I know you've been in the past very active on Discord. Do you still participate in the Discord community?
Yes, I do. I also recently got into NHL Reddit's Discord, so I've been doing a lot of chirping, especially during the playoffs to Jets fans.
Well, that's why we love you. Awesome. Okay. And you're still in the Thunderbird Discord, correct?
I don't think the Thunderbirds actually have a Discord, but I am in the St. Louis Blues Reddit Discord, and they tend to talk about the Thunderbirds a lot. We actually have some people in Springfield that joined just for that.
I knew there was something, and yeah, man, come on, Thunderbirds, get on Discord. What are you doing?
Right.
Man. Speaking of Thunderbirds, let's start there. There's obviously a lot of things that we could talk about. I mean, we could literally go for hours here, Vanessa, but I'm going to try to keep it as short as possible. The Thunderbirds, unfortunately, ended last season in the first round, losing the best of three after going up 1-0. What did you see from that play? Was there anything that kind of stood out to you? I know that it's a couple months ago at this point, but obviously not the way the Thunderbirds wanted to end their season.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head with that. I actually watched all three games. The offense just fell flat. A lot of the newer players, they hadn't gotten a taste of the AHL playoffs yet, and they just didn't have the finish that I thought they would.
Yeah, there's a lot of forwards that, we could talk about here that maybe didn't step up when you expected them to. A name that obviously comes to mind, Dalibor Dvorsky, his first full season in the AHL. We did get a glimpse of him with the Blues, but overall, obviously a very good season for him. He was an AHL All-Star. What were your thoughts on Dvorsky, and do you see that blossoming into an NHL career this season?
So for Dvorsky's case, I definitely agree that he made a very good impact at the pro level and really showed that he can handle the North American ice style. When it comes to him actually making the jump, I'll actually piggyback off of what Lou Kuric had discussed with Armstrong on an article, that they may just have him start as a wing like they did with Thomas. If he is able to make the jump this coming year, excuse me, I could actually see them going the route of him playing at wing instead of center for right now with the moves that they've made. If he stays in the AHL, I'm going to say now he's probably a 60, 70-point scorer. And after getting an entire year under his belt, he is going to be hungry. So he is probably going to be turning heads if he has to stay in the AHL for one more season. And honestly, that's fine. The more you season a player like Dvorsky, the more of an impact his rookie season is.
Yeah, we saw that plenty with the Red Wings, right? That was kind of their model for a long time, was they would let guys, I think the term they always used was over-ripen in the AHL so then they could step into the NHL and be fully ready. And if that's the route with Dvorsky, with how this team has progressed and with the jump this team made last season, I think that's more than okay. And I agree with you. I do think, from what I've seen, Dvorsky will probably be a winger to come up into the NHL. It's just, for me, the center position, and again, you've played, too, but for me, the center position, it's just, there's so much demand that you have to be able to command, not to sound like Dr. Seuss here, but there's so much you have to do as a center in the NHL and the AHL too. But this just, you're at an elite level at the NHL. You've got to be able to back check. You've got to be able to play both ends. You got to be able to set guys up, start the play from your own zone sometimes. For me, I just look at a lot of these players that come up, and it's it's easier and it's a better path for them to open up on the wing. And for Dvorsky, I do think, and especially if you could put him on a line with a Rob Thomas or even a Braden Shen or a Pia Suter, I think that'll be a nice learning experience for him to learn from some veteran NHL guys.
Oh, for sure. And honestly, the moves that Doug made, signing Bukestad, signing Pia Suter, his first name confuses me, and I have to keep remembering it's a different pronunciation.
Yep.
But signing those two centers gives a good bridge gap between Dvorsky actually getting full-time center role and even potentially Zach Dean. So it's you're giving them the safety net to, if they are not ready, you can still give them that chance to work their way into it. And you're not rushing them, which is the biggest thing.
And I wanted to ask you, that's another player I wanted to bring up. You mentioned Zach Dean. That was an interesting, and again, any insight you have, please provide it, because Zach Dean was injured apparently pretty much all season last season. And I asked around all my AHL contacts, and I got the same answer. Thunderbirds have been very hush-hush on what's going on with him. So, having said that, this was the guy, for those that may not remember, that the Blues got in the Ivan Barbashev trade with the Golden Knights. So obviously there was some high expectation. Dean did play a little bit in the NHL 2 seasons ago. What do you know of Zach Dean, and is he going to be ready to start the season?
For Zach Dean for this past year, he really got a bad luck break. I at least know that the injury was at least the lower body, and that's why it was constantly being scheduled week to week. With regards to him for next season, this is where he needs to prove that the injury didn't hamper his progress. Once he got back towards the end of the year, he was performing well. He still looked a little shaky because, again, he hadn't played for most of the season. But he was starting to look kind of like himself from the first few games in the season that he did play. So I would say for Dean, this is more of, all right, I had a really, really bad injury I had to deal with. So I really need to show that, yes, even with the injury, I was at least improving in some area.
Right.
And I think he did. I think he has the tool set to actually showcase that he is improving. I would say this probably pushed him back from the NHL maybe a year, just because they do not want to rush anything like that. And I'll just keep coming back to this whole thing of them not rushing prospects. There's no need to.
Right. And especially with, them coming out of this retool, rebuild, whatever. they've got plenty of guys. Obviously Bolduc's moved on, but they've got other wingers that are stepping up. We've already mentioned Dvorsky. You've got other guys like Jimmy Snuggerud, who we'll talk about in a minute. And then just other names that could easily step into a top 9 role if needed. So, yeah, I'm with you. I don't think there's any real need. If it's like, oh, my gosh, Zach Dean doesn't have a good camp, he's done. I don't think that's the case at all. I think let him kind of figure his game back out after a troublesome injury season and see what happens. But, if for you in what you've seen from Dean and what you've heard and what you've read about with him, what areas do you think he could really improve on to kind of at this point now? It's kind of funny how we go season to season, because it's like two seasons ago it was, oh my gosh, Zach Dean, we're so excited. Now you say that name and Blues fans are like, oh, I haven't heard anything about that guy. We're worried about other people.
Yep.
What do you, from what you've seen, what do you think he could improve on to be an NHL player?
For me, I would have to say not necessarily bulking up, but just getting more of an endurance increase in his game would probably be the best, especially because of the injury. Just figuring out ways that he can both take hits and take the physical, like the physicality of the game, and be able to just translate that into being able to handle that professional level of intensity. His shot, his skating, they're all good. His defensive awareness, it's still very good, especially for a center. So pretty much his endurance is what he needs to work on now. Otherwise, he is as ready as Bolduc was this past season.
Nice. That's exactly what Blues fans probably want to hear. So there's a couple other names that I want to run down in terms of the forward group. Otto Stenberg is a guy who's gotten a lot of love from Blues fans, and obviously a Alex Steen guy. And then obviously Jakub Stancl is another name that comes to mind. A couple of these guys that stepped in last season in the AHL, and honestly both had great World Juniors as well. Is there one that kind of stands out in front of the other one for you, or are you kind of equally excited about both?
I'm actually kind of equally excited for both. The main reason is Stancl is actually coming out of juniors, so he'll get his full first professional season this year. Stenberg, he had to take kind of the route that Dvorsky did with coming over to North America, although he came over for the AHL and not juniors. Mm-hmm. Stenberg actually showed up pretty well for the Thunderbirds for the half of the season that he did show. And I know that Stancl didn't get hardly any points for I think it was 9 or 10 games that he played at the end of the season, but he still looked good.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for both of them. They're definitely not going to be pushing for the playoffs this next year, or not playoffs, for the NHL this next year.
Yeah.
But they are definitely on the track.
Yeah, so Stenberg, from what I've seen, I keep hearing about his hands. He's got excellent hands, which, I mean, these are all AHL level guys. Obviously, they all have good hands. But for Stenberg specifically, I hear it's the old adage that Panger used to use, the stick handling in a phone booth type thing. Yep. I mean, is he really at that elite of a level compared to the rest of the AHL talent you typically see?
I would actually say yeah. And ironically, it's the middle of the three Stenberg brothers, Ivar Stenberg. He's also going to be draft eligible next year. He's actually projected in the top 5, which is even better than Stenberg, or than Otto. But yeah, Otto Stenberg, he has the hands, he has the spatial awareness. It's very nice to see.
So another name, obviously, that we should definitely discuss is a guy that's already been graduated to the NHL level and is likely to be a top 6 forward for the Blues this season. Jimmy Snuggerud stepped in after his college season ended. I'm sure not the way he wanted. He came back for another season and was hoping to win the championship before joining the NHL. That did not happen. But he signs with the Blues, joins them for the playoff run. I thought for the most part, looked like he belonged in every sense of the word in the Blues' short 7-game stint in the playoffs. What stood out to you about Snuggerud, and do you think this is a guy that's kind of going to live up to the hype?
The thing that stood out the most was his drive to go after the puck like it was cotton candy. Like he was a kid in a kid's store, immediately going to the corners, grabbing that puck, and just fighting his way to do anything. This is the dynamic power player that we have been missing on the wing. I wouldn't say it's a Perron-esque. It's more of a who was I thinking? It's more of like a Jaden Schwartz, goes in, plays the puck, tries to make the plays happen. Like he gets into the nitty-gritty areas. The thing I loved the most was his shot.
Yeah. I agree. And his willingness to shoot.
Just, ooh. Those were very crisp.
His willingness to shoot is what made me excited too, because there's, how many times do we see these players step into the NHL level and just pass up opportunities because it's like, oh, I don't want to be that guy, but it's like Snuggerud, he knows the type of player he is, and he's like, I'm going to rip this one at the net. And I appreciate that. We saw it a little bit with Dvorsky, I thought, in his one game as a Blue too. But like for him, I thought, this is what we need you to do. We need you to step in and be ready to shoot the puck, because we've got some excellent passers on this team. And if you're going to be getting top line minutes with a guy like Robert Thomas here and there, you need to be able to shoot the puck. And that's what we saw from him. I personally am very excited about Snuggerud as well.
Yeah, he is definitely fun to watch. And him and Bolduc literally had just the same mentality of, we shoot the puck, we score. That's it.
So, well, you mentioned Bolduc. Let's talk about it.
I'm just giving you segues immediately.
You're the segue master. Look at you. Bolduc, that's another one I want to ask you about. So, obviously, unless you're living under a rock, you have heard that the Blues did move Bolduc this summer for Logan Mailloux, who we'll talk about with the Montreal Canadiens. I hate predictions. I hate being like, well, this is what's going to happen, because nobody knows. But in your opinion, obviously the Blues have a robust amount of talent on the wing. They felt like Bolduc was expendable. Let me ask this. What was your reaction to the trade? And now that you've had about 3 weeks to let it kind of resonate in you, 2 weeks, whatever it is. What are your thoughts now?
I'm still a little salty. I was really enjoying Bolduc. I constantly was making comparisons that Bolduc was basically Perron 2.0. Because you could see it in the drive that he had to play. And I just got the same feelings between Bolduc and Perron from their early careers. So I am a little salty about it.
But from what you know about Mailloux, do you feel like it's a fair trade at this point in their careers, or are you kind of like, probably shouldn't let go of Bolduc so soon?
I'm kind of on the fence. After a few days from when the trade happened, I can understand the trade, and I can understand the viewpoint that Armstrong and Steen and the rest of the ownership group and everything, what they saw in it. He played amazing for the AHL. He was literally the best defenseman for the entire league. Like, I can understand the appeal of, it's a very, very shiny new toy. Might want to go at it. Also, the fact that it's right-handed defenseman, that's literally a needle in a haystack player nowadays. So, controversies for Mailloux aside, I definitely understand why they made the trade. I was kind of hoping it wasn't Bolduc, and immediately when that actually came out, my entire mentality was just like, what are we doing?
You weren't alone.
Let go of a Perron light. what are we doing?
Yeah.
But
Yep. That was a lot of
after a while,
sentiment.
I understand it.
Yeah, so you get it. I mean, for me, I kind of look at it as a need for a need, right? Like for Montreal, they went out and got Noah Dobson, so it was okay. We kind of made Mayu expendable, and then for the Blues, like we've said, they've got so much an assortment of. It's an embarrassment of riches, really, in terms of forward prospects for this team. So and I think I even said this late in the season. I said we're going to see a young winger moved this summer because there's just too much talent to let them logjam each other. I will admit, though, I was shocked that it was Bolduc. I really thought we would see, I thought maybe a Dean, maybe a Stenberg even, or a Stancl. I thought maybe one of those guys would be moved. But again, with them being kind of Steen picks and he's the next GM, you have to wonder how much of this was, and let's not, gloss over the fact that I think Steen was in on these discussions as well. But for me, it was, this is an Armstrong, like, I don't want to move the guys that Steen basically wanted me to draft. So that's the way I look at it. And we'll see. And I'm honestly, as weird as this sounds, Vanessa, I cannot wait to have you on a year from now and have us break down how this trade looked for both teams.
Oh, for sure. I will admit, I kind of wish it was actually Texier and maybe a Stenberg or a Koss for Mayu. I would have been able to handle that a little more. But, yeah, it's how the chips fell.
Yep. Well, let's move on to talking about some defensemen in the Blues' system. One name that obviously comes to mind for me is Matthew Kessel. Stepped in as a rookie and I thought played tremendous. Outplayed Torrey Krug, outplayed Nick Leddy in his rookie season. Looked like a seasoned veteran out there. Love the way he looked. But for you, well, for all of us, we saw him take a major step back last year. And it goes down to the AHL. Tyler Tucker ends up getting promoted over him, and let's not lie about Tyler Tucker. I thought looked great since the last time he was up. But for Kessel, I think to me this is an interesting year for him to see. And for me, I think he's got to have a good camp because he's got a guy like Mayu who stepped in. Blues have obviously gotten rid of Leddy now, but like they've still got. There's still some space, I think, for him to work in, but he's really got to prove himself. So for you, I mean, where do you see Matthew Kessel on this depth chart, and how do you see him shaking out this year in terms of, placement on the NHL or AHL?
Yeah. So in Kessel's case, he's got more than just Mayu to worry about, unfortunately. And this will actually lead to a very hot take of mine. But there's actually a chance that Theo Lindstein might push for a spot. Like,
I could see that.
He played in the SHL. He went all the way to the championship round with his team over in Sweden. They just barely lost in 6 games. And he was one of their top defensemen night in and night out, playing nearly 20 minutes every night. And ironically, Lindstein can actually play the right side if he needs to, which I didn't even know, because he was only touted as a left-handed defenseman. So you would think he plays on the left side, which he did for a lot, but he actually can play solid right defenseman.
So he's a weirdo like me because I'm a lefty and I like the right side. Everyone I talk to about that, they're like, why? And for me, and it's a weird reasoning, I know, but I like going into the boards on my backhand because for me, I like the option to be able to send it behind the net more than send it up. So for me, it's like, that's just a more comfort level for me. And it's just funny whenever that does happen in the NHL, you see some guys that enjoy the right side. Like I think John Moore, when he was on the Devils, was playing on his opposite hand, and people were like, what is he doing? And it's just like, it's a comfort thing. So for Lindstein, if he could step in on the right side, that's more of a need for the Blues.
I share the same sentiment with you. I've played both wing and defense, and I just prefer, like, even being left-handed, even though I'm ambidextrous, I still prefer playing on the right side as a lefty. It just feels right.
Yeah, it's weird. It's so odd because, again, like I will go out on the rink and I'll ask, if I'm playing with somebody new, I'll be like, "Oh, what side do you like?" And they'll go, "Well, you're left, so I'll take right." And I'm like, "No, I'm cool playing right. Right's my side." And they're like, "Really?" And I'm like, "Yeah, let's not have that discussion now. Let me just jump to the right side and we'll talk about it on the bench later."
Yep.
But anyway, no. So for me, like, yes, Lindstein, and that's an interesting one. So as you said, played with I can never say this name, Brenus IF last season. Yeah. Okay. That's what you that listen to Vanessa, don't listen to Jeff. Yeah, so he's coming over from the AHL and they're
SHL.
got him projected. I'm sorry, the AHL, NHL, AHL. He's coming to North America. Let's say that.
He's coming from Sweden to America.
Yep. So basically, like right now, if you look on like Hockey Prospects, they have him listed as a Thunderbird. But like you said, this kid's got a lot of upside. I mean, 2023 first round pick, number 29 overall. He has been on the Blues' radar. Again, a Steen pick from all accounts, from what I've heard, and just a guy that can really step in and make a difference. So yeah, I could see. And to me, again, Matthew Kessel, look out, buddy. You've really got to have a good camp here. Otherwise, I think you either could see a trade or you could be a guy that gets stuck in the AHL for a little while.
It's very possible. And so the basis of everything is the Blues bottom pair defenseman. It currently shakes out as basically a camp fight between Tucker, Kessel, Mayu, Lindstein. And I'm also going to say another person who might push for the 7th defenseman position, Loof.
He got a brief stint up here in the NHL, but I don't think he saw a game, correct? He
didn't know.
Called up. Yeah. And I kept thinking, I'm like, ooh, I'm excited about Leo Loof. I've heard good things about the way he plays in the AHL. So what do you like
Loof
about
has been their
game?
best shutdown defenseman. Like, he is basically what we've been missing for a physical shutdown defenseman for a while. And he's looked good.
He's a stocky guy too. He's not like huge. He's not like 6'4", but I think he's like 6'1", 180. But like he's just a stout fella that you don't want to mess with.
Yeah, and he's not afraid to go for a fight.
Gotta love that. Like a Tyler Tucker type, right?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Tyler Tucker has a little more of the offensive side to his game than Loof, but Loof is definitely about the same physicality wise.
That's great. So there's a name that you have brought up a couple of years in a row now. And again, you think you have to kind of wonder where he's at on the depth chart. Marc-Andre Gaudette. I wanted to ask you about him. How has he looked, and do you see him ever at this point with all these other defensemen joining the ranks? Do you think he gets an NHL call up anytime soon?
I don't think he gets it with the Blues. I think he'll finally be able to actually push for a proper AHL debut. I don't know if he gets it because we actually have, I think, 3 or 4 new defensemen leaving juniors and coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And I can name drop those if you want to.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's hear it.
Quentin Burns, Lucas Fisher, Adam Jiricek, and I just had the other one. Where to go?
Theo Lindstein?
No. Theo Lindstein, but Michael Buschinger, he'll have his first full season finally.
Yep.
But yeah, the defense for the AHL is going to be very good this year, no matter what.
So the Brantford Bulldogs of the OHL, you mentioned Adam Jiricek. I wanted to ask you, let's check in on him. 2024 first round pick, number 16. So just finished his, first season as a member of the Blues prospect camp, but we've heard a lot about him in the 2 development camps he's done in St. Louis. But how was his season this year, and where is he at developmentally?
Well, thankfully, he didn't have another leg injury that ruined his season. He had some minor bumps and bruises that kept him out for a good portion of the season. So he is trying to acclimate and learn to increase his endurance, kind of like some of the other players, like Zach Dean. But for Jiricek, you can still see the passion with his play. You can still see it in the few games that he has played. He has the awareness. His body just needs to catch up.
Yeah.
And I feel like making that jump to the AHL, if they can ease him into it, like during the prospect camp, he looked healthy. He looked to be skating really good. No weird complications, no weird tweaking, like something of his leg makes him stumble a little. He looked good, and he does look healthy. So hopefully that can translate to a good professional debut.
One last player that I definitely want to talk about, a guy who really took a step up last season, Colten Ellis in goal. A guy that a lot of people were actually saying, ooh, does he push out Joel Hofer and become the backup this season? Well, Hofer signs the 2-year extension, so that's not going to happen. But and I think it was a little premature, to be quite fair, because I do think that was his first full season as an AHL goalie. But what do you see his ceiling being?
Colten Ellis, I think, is actually the biggest surprise out of the 3 goaltenders that we had before the draft. Zherenko, Cranley were the other 2.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think Ellis basically pushed Zherenko down the rank and actually just took over the 3rd spot in our depth chart completely.
Yeah.
And
I agree with you.
He has just played very well at the AHL level. I really hate saying this, but I think Zherenko got kind of figured out. Like, it's kind of hard to see him even in an AHL starter role.
Ooh, yeah, I'll say I saw him play a preseason game last year, and I saw him like first or second game for the Thunderbirds last year. He played, and I watched the whole game, and I thought, whew, this kid is good. I am very excited about Zherenko. But then, like you said, Ellis just kind of came out of nowhere, stole the starting job. And I agree with you 100%. He is number 3 on the depth chart. There's no doubt in my mind. If one of the goalies gets hurt, you're calling up Ellis. You're not calling up Zherenko. So, should be interesting to see what happens with Zherenko this year. But, Colten Ellis. And obviously, you mentioned Will Cranley as well. But for me, Colten Ellis, I'm excited to see what he can do for the second season as basically the starter for the Thunderbirds.
Yeah, and just for Blues fans in general, yes, love Bennington, love everything he's done for us. But my viewpoint on the current tandem going forward after Bennington leaves, and you have to understand that he is probably going to leave at the end of the contract. I don't know if the Blues have it in the plans to try and keep him. It may cost too much.
Yeah. Yep.
But it's basically going to be Hofer at the starter and Ellis as the backup.
I'm fine with that. I mean,
and they are both very good players.
I was going to say, if they continue to project the way that they have so far in their careers, I have no problem with that. And hell, it could even be Ellis steals the starting job at some point. You know, I mean,
that is possible.
He looks like he's got the ability to do it.
He does. I'm still a big Hofer fan. Like, Hofer went out and took that World Junior tournament that he was in, and he stole the show. Like, he has that Hall of Famer Hofer mentality.
Yes. All right, I got a couple quick hit questions for you. You can provide some. You can provide whatever you like. If you want to add some color, that's fine. Otherwise, just giving me a name is fine. Which prospect? Let's take out Dalibor Dvorsky. Which prospect is most likely to make the jump next season to the NHL?
So I have.
You
a
would
list
probably
of
agree.
I
that
have
it
a
would be
list of
Dvorsky,
players
right?
besides Dvorsky that can do.
Yeah.
it.
Well, you got to pick. You got to pick. Let's go top 3 then. Who do you think the top 3 options would be?
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and list all of them, and then I will pick the 3 so that people know where my thought process is.
Okay.
So besides Dvorsky, Aleksandr Kaskiamaki, Dylan Peterson, Leo Loof, Samuel Johannesson, and Theo Lindstein. Of those 5, I would say Loof, Kaskiamaki, and Peterson, all 3 of them have a very good shot.
Wow.
And
what do you like about Dylan Peterson?
I kind of want to piggyback of what Armstrong said at the end of season presser. Peterson just has a mature game. It is such a good, well-rounded, mature game. He can play center, but he was playing right wing for the Thunderbirds, and he was just a very professional mindset. Basically, a very good young fourth liner.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of what I projected him at too, from what I've seen from him and heard and read. Is to me, it's like he's not going to be your first line winger or center, but he is going to be an NHL player. He'll be in your bottom 6, which, hey, those guys do. I mean, look at the Blues' 4th line last year. They were just as important as anyone else on the ice.
Yeah, for sure. And I can definitely see him sliding in and actually pushing, let's say, Matthew Joseph, or moving Walker to the left side for a 4th line mix if someone gets injured. Easily could do that.
Yeah.
Or he could even just beat out Texier for a position.
Yeah, that's true. He does not seem to be in favor with Jim Montgomery. So, very, very possible that happens. And that's a name I didn't even mention earlier, because that's a name that one of my favorite names in the Blues organization right now, Aleksandr Kaskiamaki. Like, that name, it's such a beautiful name. So, I would love to see that name in the NHL.
Yeah, and Armstrong even said in the press conference at the end of the season, he really loved Kaskiamaki's game during the season. It was just very well-rounded, especially this was also, I believe, his first season coming over from Finland. So
yeah, I believe so.
Definitely worth it.
So another question for you, and again, if you need to list a couple off, that's fine. Obviously not including the names you just said, if you could pick a prospect that is a surprise that could make the Blues team next season, who would you pick? Because for me, and I'll vamp for you so you can think about it. There's always that one player that always has like a ridiculously good camp, and it's like, whoa, where did this guy come from? So is there anyone in the ranks here that you could see being that guy?
Part of me wants to say the latest first-round pick, Carbonneau. Part of me does, but I also understand he wants to play in the juniors and try and win the Memorial Cup.
Mm-hmm.
I would say Alexandrov whenever he actually signs his qualifying offer.
Yep. Okay. Yeah,
I would say after last season,
beat that drum for a while.
Yeah, I think Alexandrov, he was rushed, and that's kind of why his second season in the NHL was so flat. We just rushed him too quickly into it. But after what he did last season, putting up mostly the same numbers as Dvorsky in the same amount of time, I think he's finally ready to have a more stable job in the NHL. And I think he could surprise some people.
Yeah, we could see. Okay. Who of these prospects, and again, it doesn't have to be someone we've already talked about, who do you see play that you're just like, that guy is never going to play in the NHL? Do we have any of those prospects?
Ooh. So I'm kind of going to harp on Leaf fans a little bit. We're not going to see Abramov, the guy that we got in the Ryan O'Reilly trade. He's not going to come back to the North American ice. He's going to stay in the KHL. Leaf fans, you destroyed his potential.
They're good at that.
Many others. They are very good at that. If there was one prospect I had to specifically choose that is not going to get up to the NHL, Antoine Dorian. Sorry.
He was a late pick a couple years ago, correct?
I think he was a 6th or a 7th.
I'm gonna look him up.
Currently plays for the Quebec Ramparts.
Right. Let's see. He drafted, round 7, number 209 overall of 2024. So last year, let's see, 10 goals, 5 assists in 56 games. So, yeah, nothing too exciting to write home about there.
No, he was more of a shot in the dark, hoping. Basically, they were just hoping if he produces a little bit more points, could be a good professional AHL. I think ECHL is probably his ceiling.
So, again, I'm going to put you on the spot here, but I'm going to vamp for you so that way you have some time to think about it. But my last question I wanted to ask you, Justin Carbonneau, the Blues' big pick, number 19 overall, 2025, first-round pick. You know, a lot of people, you mentioned him earlier, that a guy, if he didn't want to go to Canada to play juniors, potentially, and I think even our friend Thomas Welch on Twitter has said he thinks Carbonneau could be NHL ready now. But, you know, he's probably not going to be here this year. We'll probably see him at camp, and that's it. And he'll go off and probably go, you know, win for Blainville. But so, and that's in the Q, by the way, for those that don't know. But yeah, so NHL comparable. I want to ask you, at his elite, who's the NHL comparable? I will tell you a name that I have heard, and I have heard Phil Kessel as being, when Kessel was at the top of his game, being a good comparable for Justin Carbonneau. Is there anyone else you could think of that, for fans that don't know anything about his game, who would you compare him to? Which Kessel is not a bad pick because he had a hell of an NHL career.
I'm just trying to think of. Oh man, that is a very good question.
That's what I do here at Let's Go Blues Radio. Ask the good questions. See if I can pull up. Let's see. Another one I've seen. Let's see. Brock Besser, Cole Caulfield. That's right. I've seen that too. That Cole Caulfield's a good comparison. Which, again,
I would say Besser is probably the best comparison in my mind.
Okay. Wow, I'm seeing Timo Meyer too.
I would agree with that. Yeah,
Man,
I would agree with Timo Meyer.
Played that big of a game. That's good.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, cool.
Yeah, he's definitely worth it.
Yep. Some of the stuff we saw in development camp with him, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. This kid's 17 years old.
There was one clip that the Blues actually harped on their socials, where he gives a check in the center of the ice, knocks the defenseman off the puck, and then steals the puck and just highlight reel goals it in on a little scrimmage. It's like, where the hell did this come from?
Yeah. You know, I mean, he's playing to get, like, that development camp. Yeah, it's all kids, but at the same time, like, a lot of those guys, it's not their first rodeo. You know, they've all been in these development camps. They've played against other prospects at a high level. And this kid's 18, stepping in and making plays like that. I mean, that's super exciting.
Oh, yeah. And that's not something you expect to see at a prospect camp, where they're mainly just going through, like, drills, seeing where their specific skill level is for the actual coaches that work with the prospects. Yep. So it's like, all right, this is kind of interesting. Hold up.
Yep. Well, Vanessa, always awesome talking with you. Love having you on. You just bring such a wealth of knowledge about the Blues prospects that honestly, there's just so much going on in the NHL landscape. It's so hard to, like, keep track of all these guys. Yeah. So it's awesome having people like you who actually pays attention. It doesn't just read reports. Like, you're actually watching the games. You're actually learning about these guys. So I very much appreciate your contribution to Let's Go Blues Radio. Again, I want to ask you to let people know where they can find your work, how they can interact with you on social media, and anything else you feel like plugging.
Okay. I'll plug some quick little hits for you,
Sure.
just so that people who listen to the podcast know. So the Blues are going to have 3 players that will return to juniors for next year. Carbonell, already listed for the QMJ. Antoine Dorian, he's also returning. Adam Yeko, it seems like he's also going to stay in the W, but we're still trying to get a full confirmation on that. Pretty much all of the Russian prospects that we have, minus Abramov, because he's not really a prospect at this point.
Yeah.
Korodki, Susiev, the newest guy, Fyodorov, Vorobyov, Romislov, they're all technically still in the KHL. Vorobyov doesn't have a contract. So he actually might have the chance to make the jump over to the AHL.
Okay. That'd be
Possibly.
good.
And he is a forward, which I'm fine with. We can use all the forwards we can to develop over in the A.
Yep.
But the rest of them, at a minimum, they're still there until the end of next season. Korotki and Susiev, they're both stuck in the KHL until 2017 or 2027. Andre Koss and the newest goaltender, Loof Harenstam. That one's going to be a while for me to get right. But both Koss and Harenstam, they're both staying in Europe another year or two. So don't have to worry about them trying to make the jump. AHL, we got a lot of people coming up. Buschinger, Lindstein, Jiricek, Quentin Burns, Lucas Fisher. They're all going to be making that jump. Jakub Stancl, Pekarsik are also going to as well. Pekarsik and Stancl, definitely watch out for them this year. It's going to be very interesting.
They had some great juniors too.
Yeah, they did, especially Pekarsik. In terms of, we have 3 players making the jump to the NCAA or transferring. Tomas Mercic, he's making the jump from juniors, and he's going to Colorado College, ranked 33rd in the country. Colin Ralph, he's actually transferring from one college to another. He's going to Michigan State, which was ranked 2nd in the country. And Matthew Mayich, he's also making the jump. He's heading to Clarkson University, and that was ranked 20th last year.
Wow. Okay.
So a lot of good stuff.
Awesome. Well, again, let's hear about, where people can find your work, because you do have, obviously, you've got the knowledge, but you've also got this in written form for people to check out. Where can they find your work?
Yeah. So go ahead and just type into your little search bar, Google or whatever, Bluenote Prospects.
Bluenote Prospects.
Right.
All right. And then I think you got a link up on your Blue Sky as well.
Yes, I do have a link on my Blue Sky. And eventually I'll actually have a domain for the actual website anyway. So
cool. Yeah, VRAIN91 is the Blue Sky for Vanessa. And you are very active on there. You're always willing to answer any questions about Blues prospects. So make sure you follow her or ask any questions, send them her way. She knows her Blues stuff. So, Vanessa, thank you again. Love having you on. Again, we will be talking to you very soon, I'm sure. But thank you very much for all this great insight into Blues prospects.
Yeah, it's not a problem at all. And hey, let's go Blues. And those new jerseys, they're fire.
Oh, yeah, they are. I'm with you. Loving it. Well, I again want to thank Vanessa Graf. She is just awesome. Always brings the good stuff. So for those of you wanting prospect news, I hope you got your fill with this episode. And we will probably be hearing about these prospects throughout the year. So, again, Vanessa, friend of the show, always happy to come on. We always love having her. Next week, we've got a new 2-time favorite guest coming on. Morgan Grzybowski of Alabama women's hockey is going to join me. Roll Tide, right? So for those that maybe don't remember, we had Morgan on last year. She helped create the first Alabama women's hockey team at Alabama for, the university. And it was a tremendous success their first year. I think they only played maybe 10 games in their first year. It might have been less. And it was kind of like an unofficial thing. Like they were still kind of, they still had to they were wearing practice jerseys and all that. But they are officially part of the, I believe it's the College Hockey South Division. Obviously the women's division of that. They took first place this past year. They went 13-2 in their first full season, and they won the women's division championship. So very awesome to see a grassroots hockey team do so well in their first year. So we're going to talk to Morgan about that. She was one of the big drivers of getting a team down there in Alabama. So very cool. And I just think that's just such an amazing story to hear how these women have been able to come together. And it literally just started with, I think they said it was like on an Alabama message board, like who goes to school here and wants to play hockey? And apparently they had a tremendous amount of women respond. So very cool. And I love talking to Morgan. She's been a friend of the show now for a little over a year. We had her on last summer, and she helped us with a lot of the hockey shoots that we did on the ice last summer as well. So always love having Morgan on to talk puck. So make sure you do not miss our episode next week. And that'll do it for this week. Support for Let's Go Blues Radio is brought to you in part by Mike Burgoyne from Real Brokerage Realty. Email him at mike@strikewithmike.com or visit strikewithmike.com today for all of your home buying and selling needs. That is strikewithmike.com. That'll do it for episode 37 of season 14 of the original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio. Thank you so much for tuning in, and have a great week, everyone. For Curt Price and Bill Day, as well as Vanessa Graf, I'm Jeff Ponder, and I will talk with you later. This was Let's Go Blues Radio. Until next time, everyone, let's go Blues.
A Mark Goodson television production.
Sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog.
One little, two little, three little engines. 4 little, 5 little, 6 little engines. Uh-oh, sorry, that one was a half-breed.
Mentos fresh and full of life. Nothing gets to you. Staying fresh, staying cool. With Mentos fresh and full of life. Fresh goes better. Mentos freshness. Fresh goes better with Mentos fresh and full of life.
Mentos, the fresh maker.